Hi, welcome. Thanks so
you.
much for joining us here.
Thanks for having me.
Always good to chat, of course.
Absolutely.
Well, I obviously know you, George, but maybe you can do a quick intro, who you are, what you do, who you work for.
Yeah, I'm George Hanna. I'm the Chief Tech and Digital Officer for the LA Clippers and the Intuit Dome. What I do, I help bring the vision of Intuit Dome to life in support of our fans and our team and our employees, and specifically on matters of technology.
And speaking of vision, you always talk about the North Star, the one vision. What is that vision for you guys?
Yeah, so for Intuit Dome, for games and concerts, our North Star is we want fans in their seat, and in the case of a Clipper game, we want you wearing your gear, there early, cheering for the team. There's data to suggest that's worth a point or two in an NBA game, home court advantage, and some of that is stuff that we can't control, right? The team sleeping in their own bed and driving their own cars to the arena, but some of it is the atmosphere, the crowd noise. You know, our team feels it, the opposing team feels it, the refs hear it and feel it, so that's worth a point-ish in a game. And so we want our point, we want fans to earn it for us, and so our North Star is really about that home court advantage. For concerts, kind of the same thing. We want you there enjoying the artist of the show or whatever the event is. And so, yeah, I'd say everything we've done is in support of that North Star vision.
Yeah. And thinking about that vision, obviously it's about the outcomes that you want, but a big part of that is the journey to get to those outcomes. So the experience itself, from beginning to end. You talk a lot about seamless, frictionless, touchless, contactless, lineless, all the lesses.
Right.
Hopefully more of other things, but less of these things. So as you think about some of the exciting things that you've been able to implement at the Intuit Dome, what are some of the technologies that you believe have really truly made an impact in the sports industry? And also, how are some of those things changing maybe other industries?
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably a few things. One is not necessarily technology related, but I'd say a business decision that we made, and that is it's hard to do the things that we want to do, delivering the fan experience, if we don't know who our fans are. Most teams, most venues, most sports, the person with a ticket is known to the venue, or the person holding the tickets for their group, and the rest of the group is anonymous. And so for us last year, for example, that was about a 30 to 70% ratio. So we knew 30% of people, 70% were anonymous. Hard to deliver on a fan experience if you don't even know who most of your fans are. So one of the things we decided was everybody's going to have their own ticket and their own account when they come in. Doing that enabled us to unlock a bunch of technologies, and not any one of them necessarily were new whiz-bang that had never been done before. I think bringing them together in the way that we did, obviously with Globant's help and a lot of other partners, we put them together in a way that delivered on the fan experience in a unique way. So I think the importance of data and knowing your fan, I'd say not new to a lot of industries, a little bit new to sports, or at least sports is still catching up, and venue entry and things like that. That's one thing that I think we'll see. We're already starting to hear a lot of other venues and teams sort of talking about moving in that direction. The second is, again, like I said, just the way in which we brought, whether it's biometrics or frictionless payments or the frictionless stores, right? Lots of venues have a store or two, and we have them all, right? Every single one of ours is frictionless. The power in the seats and the things that we can do there, the interactivity once you're in your seat with our Halo, our big scoreboard. So I think bringing all of that together in the name of the fan experience is, people are just moving in that direction in general, and that we may have helped accelerate that.
Becoming more expected, really, across the board. And it's interesting because I remember us talking very early in this process about, do they even want this? Like, are we doing this for us? Are we doing it for them? Do we know if they want it? Do we know they don't? And one could equate it to a lot of other technologies that have, going back to the iPhone, right? Everybody gives that analogy of nobody knew they needed it until they had it, and then they can't live without it.
Right.
Is this similar? Is this kind of that revolutionary thing of nobody thought they needed it, and now they can't live without it?
Yeah, I mean, I think from a team and venue perspective, that's probably true, that they feel like this is becoming more of an imperative to have sort of that fan relationship. I think from a fan perspective, the frictionless nature, I think people have seen what, for example, we call it your game face, giving us your selfie, and what that means to get into into the venue and get your ticket taken without breaking your stride, and to go into a store and grab something and leave, and sort of putting all that together. One of the sort of tenets we had is it has to pay off for the fan, right? They're giving us this information up front, and they don't necessarily have to do that in other places. So
why would they do it?
Why would they do it? And do they think that it makes sense? Do they think it's helpful to them? And it has to make sense in that one event, right? It's not that a season ticket holder that comes 10 times or 20 times, the payoff is, down the line. It's like that one event in the next 2.5, 3, 4 hours, it's going to pay off for you. And I think we've seen that. So the adoption's been great. The adoption on the optional things like Game Face ID, for example, has exceeded our expectations, and people are doing that. And they're even some half the people, say 50%, are doing it before they show up. But what we're finding is by the time the event is done, we're in the 75-80% range of people who are enrolling their Game Face ID. So they're seeing in action, and it's like making a believer out of them on the spot, and then they enroll and have at it.
I think that's what makes it really unique in these kinds of experiences. We call them the phygital experiences. It's a physical experience that you're all going through, so you can see it. And then when digital supports it in some way, doesn't prohibit it, and I know you've said it over and over again, not technology for the sake of technology, but how is it enabling, empowering, creating something that's a little bit value added to move forward? What surprised you maybe in a positive way? If you think back to 2 years ago and where you are now.
Coming into the industry, I think what surprised me the most is how willing everybody is to see us succeed, and to want us to succeed, and to want each other to succeed and help. That's been amazing. I think since specifically on our project of opening the building, I think the fan adoption of again, a lot of the stuff is optional, right? And so you can decide, and it's not opt out, it's opt in. Like, you're explicitly giving us your selfie, or adding your pay method, or giving us your location so we can do some fun things with loyalty. I think the adoption of that, I think we wanted it to work. We knew it could work. We knew fans, once they did it, would love it. But you never know until you put it out there. And so
build it and they will come.
That's right. And I think that like all things, and especially technology things, there's challenges that come with it. But I think the reception, the adoption, and how people have really taken to it, and those that do it just kind of love it. And so that's been great.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me the summary is, if you haven't been to the Intuit Dome, go. Go to a Clippers game. Have the experience. Buy a T-shirt. Do all the right things, but also help it grow. Help it evolve. If you have a way of thinking about taking what's there now and making it better, do it. We want to be a part of that. So I think that's something hopefully everybody will go out and do. Absolutely,
man. I think, like I said, we want others to succeed just as much as they wanted us to succeed. And one of Steve's goals early on was elevate the live event experience, and not just for us, but in general. And so we partnered with a bunch of folks, again, you guys included, that will help make that happen for their customers. Well, thank you so much. Absolutely. I really appreciate it. I mean, I know you love talking about this. I do. As do I. So I really appreciate having the time to kind of chat about it. And as we continue to build this further, I think there'll be a lot of really great things that will come, and we're talking about the next big tech thing in 6 months. Exactly. Oh man, 6 months. That's a long time away yet. Very short. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you and everything that you've done, and the Globant organization has done for us. So right back at you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.